Remember that nothing worth doing is ever easy. You'll have bad moments. You gotta love what you're doing. And if you don't, just do something else. Keep standing up always for your values. Keep loving your country. And one of the most important things, never, ever quit. Never quit. Then ask yourself, what imprint will you leave in the sands of history? What will future Americans say we did in our brief time right here on Earth? Did we take risks? Did we dare to defy expectations? Did we challenge accepted wisdom and take on established systems? In my short time in Washington, I've seen firsthand how the system is broken. A small group of failed voices who think they know everything and understand everyone want to tell everybody else how to live and what to do and how to think. But you aren't going to let other people tell you what you believe, especially when you know that you're right. I know that each of you will be a warrior for the truth. Will be a warrior for our country and for your family. I know that each of you will do what is right, not what is the easy way, and that you will be true to yourself and your country and your beliefs. Remember this, nothing worth doing ever came easy. Following your convictions means you must be willing to face criticism from those who lack courage or the guts or the stamina to take it and to do it. It's called the road less traveled.
If you walked into Comer and Jordan and said, okay, guys, calm down. Here's what we got to do. Walk me through the action plan.
Yeah, look, you don't have to do 100 things. 3 things. Subpoena Wray, subpoena Garland, subpoena Hunter Biden. That's it. And get all the receipts. Get every document. Why, Steve, is it that we have fought for 1 year to get one 1023 from the FBI that's 60% redacted that shows direct evidence of Joe Biden's corrupt involvement with his son? You and I know there are 10,000 other pages of documents. Where are the subpoenas and where's the enforcement? Go take their money. Chris Wray doesn't need a private jet.
You were flying on a Gulfstream jet for a personal vacation in the Adirondacks. Please tell me that's not accurate.
I am required, not only permitted, but required to.
So you were going on vacation?
I was, yes.
So you left a statutorily required oversight hearing in order to go on a personal vacation in the Adirondacks?
I took a flight to go visit my family.
You left an oversight hearing before the Senate Judiciary Committee required by statute so you could vacation with your family. I find that absolutely unbelievable and frankly indefensible. Did you enjoy the flight? I mean, did you pay for it?
I don't even like to say it because I'll be arrested.
Yes, I paid for it.
Will you turn over all receipts and reimbursement to this committee?
Senator, we will be happy to comply.
Just give me a yes. Will you turn over the receipts?
I will turn over the information related to my
committee.
Use of the plane. The use of the plane, I am required, not just permitted, required.
Mr. Director, do you think you're still up to this job?
I absolutely think I'm still up to this job, and I think our workforce feels the same way.
Well, I don't. And frankly, I think you should have been gone a long time ago.
Chris Wray does not need 10,000 people in Washington, D.C. doing his bidding. Take their money, reorient the FBI headquarters building, and do the same thing to Garland until they come and heal.
This testimony, your directive, your performance is shameful.
That's not.
Thank God you are not on the Supreme Court. You should resign and disgrace, Judge.
You ran the Pentagon as chief of staff over there. Does the FBI need a building that's 2x the size of the Pentagon, sir?
No, as I've said in my book, the thing that you need to do with the FBI headquarters building is shut it down and open it up the next day as a mausoleum of the deep state and let every American walk the halls freely every day to know how never to operate law enforcement again.
President Trump is stronger today than he was in 2016 or 2020. And there's a reason why. They saw the policies of what he was able to do with America, putting America first, making our economy stronger. We didn't have inflation. We didn't have these battles around the world. We didn't look weak around the world.
Well, it looks like Ron DeSantis is now trying to work with your colleagues who are pushing for a shutdown.
Yeah, but I don't think that would work anywhere. A shutdown would only give strength to the Democrats. It would give the power to Biden. It wouldn't pay our troops. It wouldn't pay our border agents. More people would be coming across. I actually want to achieve something. And this is where President Trump is so smart, that he was successful in this. You know, President Trump is beating Biden right now in the polls.
Yeah, we have the poll. Let's show it.
He's stronger than he has ever been in this process. And look, I served with Ron DeSantis. He's not at the same level as President Trump by any shape or form. He would not have gotten elected without President Trump's endorsement. And so I believe our best step forward, pass our appropriation bills so we're stronger. Take the wokeism out, secure our border to make America stronger.
What about the impeachment inquiry? Will you subpoena Hunter Biden? I mean, Don Jr. spent 20 hours. They didn't have any evidence, and yet they brought him in. They questioned him. How come you haven't brought in Hunter Biden?
Well, the first thing is I don't subpoena anybody. I let
Jim Jordan.
I let committees do their work. But think about this, Maria. You wouldn't know any of this if we weren't in charge.
Oh, I understand. I understand that.
The one thing American public has to understand is there's a strategy behind everything. We only follow facts. Hunter Biden will get subpoenaed, but when's the appropriate time? Do you do it because television wants it, or do you do it around the facts and the timing? When Comer, I think we should have the bank statements to actually know where did the money go, so you would know the questions to ask Hunter Biden. To subpoena Hunter Biden because you want to fundraise or you want to do something, that's not how we're going to run an investigation.
Don't you have emails that say Hunter Biden was complaining that he was paying all the family bills?
That came from the laptop, but we also have 5,400 emails that Joe Biden used as vice president, a false name that we have not been able to get yet. Wouldn't it be smarter in an investigation that you were able to get all of those emails? Because with that show, we saw one where it was sent to Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, about a phone call with the president of Ukraine. Wouldn't you want to know all that information so you can ask all the right questions? So I think let them do their job. They're doing a very good job at it, and let them follow it and take it at the right time.
Are there plans to subpoena any other family members? Because according to the Republicans, family members accepted money from all of these.
Well, it looks to me like 9 Biden family members got money. I want to see bank statements. I think they'd have to come before us to answer the questions. Remember what impeachment inquiry is. It empowers Congress in a legal ability to get the information we need. That's going to be bank statements. That's going to be credit card statements. That's going to be family members coming in and answering the questions so the American public can know.
I know last week fireworks were all over the place here. You have Matt Gaetz pushing you to shut down the government until he gets what he wants in the face of all of this. He tweeted this morning about you, saying Speaker McCarthy tries to subjugate my critique of his failure as some sort of ethics committee reaction. What is your reaction to Matt Gaetz? Are we now once again talking about a motion to vacate?
Well, it could. And that would be if you did a motion to vacate, you would have to, a handful of Republicans work with Adam Schiff, Eric Swalwell, Ilhan Omar to remove the speaker. And it would be exactly what the president wants, because it would shut down. How would we, you know how much we went through in January. How would we ever select the speaker? I would stay and we'd go through it. So there would be no investigation. But it's not something I lay out there that Matt's mad about an ethics complaint. It's an ethics complaint that happened in the last Congress that Matt went to other members saying, I'm going to try to influence Kevin to get involved in an ethics committee. I can't do it. Yeah. It's illegal.
It's pretty extraordinary.
It's not something I will be a part of.
It's extraordinary to me that in the face of all that you and your colleagues have been able to uncover,
yes,
you're once again getting these threats from Matt Gaetz and a handful of others?
Look, these are individuals that they have a right to do what they want, but I am only going to focus on the American public. Look, I showed in January I will never give up. We have made great progress here in changing this Capitol. And when you change Washington, you get enemies. I got Adam Schiff. I got Eric Swalwell upset because I kicked him off the Intel Committee. You got Matt Gaetz working with Swalwell to try to throw me out. That's all well and good, but I'm not going to be deterred from that.
Yeah.
I'm going to focus. We're going to secure our border. We're going to cut spending and inflation. We're going to make America energy independent. We passed the Parents' Bill of Rights. We've been able to remove so many of the IRS agents. We're going after the next. We're going to make our military stronger and get this pay raise through, even if they want to vote against it.
What's the likelihood of a shutdown?
Look, I want to make sure we don't shut down. It's not something I lay out there that Matt's mad about an ethics complaint. It's an ethics complaint that happened in the last Congress that Matt went to other members saying, I'm going to try to influence Kevin to get involved in an ethics committee. I can't do it. Yeah. It's illegal.
It's pretty extraordinary.
It's not something I will be a part of.
The Speaker says this is really about an ethics complaint. Your response?
My response is really going to surprise you. This is about term limits, a balanced budget amendment, and single subject spending bills, just like I've been saying for an entire year. I am the most investigated man in the entire Congress. And right there, you saw Kevin McCarthy lying like a dead dog because I have never asked him to interfere in any ethics matter. I had the FBI and DOJ who hate me investigate me for 3 years. You covered it nearly nightly. And even you acknowledged at the end that my denials held up consistently. And the people who spread lies about me are sitting in a federal prison right now because they were part of a criminal scheme, not me.
In fairness, it is true the DOJ closed the case. As you mentioned, we reported that. It is interesting to see you go to this point with the Speaker. He seems to be implying that you are not doing these things for the reasons you say, but that you were requesting, or perhaps through other people requesting, some special handling or treatment in the ethics complaint. You're saying that's a lie tonight.
That is an abject lie from a sad and pathetic man who lies to hold on to power. He lied to get power in January when he made this agreement, and he's lying now about the basis for breach. And you know what? Eventually, the lying has to come to an end, and the votes are going to start on a motion to vacate. I certainly hope that instead of that path, the Speaker comes into compliance on term limits, balanced budgets, and single subject spending bills. And guess what? If that happens, there will be no motion to vacate, which would totally cut against his argument that this is somehow about an ethics matter of like the lies of yesterday.
Why everyone's still in jail for J6? Because everyone's going with the given narrative, the narrative that is wrong. I want you all to think of Russia hoax. Think of how they accomplished that and now apply that to J6. We've already uncovered how they did it. But what is necessary is for people to eat a little bit of crow that they were wrong. So this is why this is happening. I just thought I would spell it out for a couple of people. In all due time. I'm trying.
Episode trains coming off the rails. Watch it all burn from the screen on your phone. But don't you worry about it, you're safe at home. Every talking head will tell you everything's fine. It's the blind leading the blind. Yeah, it's a circus out here. We're wobbling on a wire. There's a lady with a beard, clowns juggling fire. Elephants and donkeys got us jumping through hoops. Y'all wish that I was lying, but you know that is the truth. Get your popcorn ready and pour you something strong. If the world's still spinning, the shit show goes on. something strong. If the world's still spinning, the shit show goes on.
Come on. Witness the greatest show on earth. Ignore the flames. Do not panic. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
It's a circus out here, we're wobbling on a wire. There's a lady with a beard, clowns juggling fire. Elephants and donkeys got us jumping through hoops. Y'all wish that I was lying, but you know that is the truth. Get your popcorn ready and pour you something strong. If the world's still spinning, the shit show goes on.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
The greatest places in the world. I may never see those places again. But I think this is very important. I think that we're going to save our country. I think we're going to win the election. I'm beating Biden by a lot. I'm beating the Republicans by numbers nobody's ever seen before. But I'm beating Biden by a lot. And I'll turn it around, and I'll turn it around fast.
Donald Trump is a billionaire. Donald Trump has had a charmed life. That goes without saying. He doesn't need this. He doesn't need this fight. He doesn't need this aggravation. He could just walk off. He could go play golf for every single day for the rest of his life if he wanted to. And you know what? I think we all know that the charges, the indictments would all go away if he decided to just take his bag and go home. But he's not. This is a fight that he's in for the long haul. This is not a fight for him. And as Logan said earlier in the segment, he is a stand-in for the frustrations of the people of this country, the people of the middle class, the people of the working class, the people of the Midwest, the people of the South, the people who had to be evicted from their homes on Christmas Eve in Flint, Michigan, because the factory was moving overseas, because they were going to get parts from China, because they were going to get parts from Mexico. Well, what happened to the families? What happened to the people who lost their jobs and then couldn't afford their home anymore? Screw you was the message that they got from General Motors. Screw you was the message that they got from the McCains and the Romneys and the Paul Ryans. And so that's our message back to all of you. We're done with you. We're putting you on the ash heap of conservative history. Classical liberalism has failed. It has completely been devastated, and the Never Trump movement has now been completely usurped by the populist movement of MAGA America First. And it is never going away. It's never going away. Even one day, 5 years from now, 6 years from now, 10 years from now, after Donald Trump finishes his rightful second term in office, this movement will still be ascendant. This movement will be the movement leading the party. And so if you want to be riding that wave with us, then come along. Come right along. I'm more than happy to have you with us. But I'm getting awful sick. I'm getting awful sick of the people who sit there with a straight face and deny reality when it is staring at them. You have lost. You are done. This is over. It's not even a conversation anymore. And I want to save this country for our people, for our children, and for our future. And you are currently standing in our way. Lead, follow, or get out of the way.
You mean because I challenged an election, they want to put me in jail? I challenged an election, but I challenged a crooked election.
So it's not
It
on
was
your
a rigged
radar
election.
right now.
I challenged a rigged election. And now I'm going to win for a third time.
Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary people. We hope you're enjoying the insurrection. Don't forget to visit the souvenir shop before you leave and collect your complimentary glass of rum punch. Also, please be aware the Capitol Police have just opened up Statuary Hall, so make your way there at your earliest convenience. If you want to know more about the statues, you can ask one of the 30 police officers currently stationed there. But please do not approach the National Guard. They are there for your safety. And could the owner of a black denim jacket size 48 please pop along to the southern door as you've dropped it on the floor. And good news, we've located the owner of the black jacket. It seems he had a few too many complimentary rum punches. I'm sure he's safely tucked up at home in bed by now and will probably be nursing a bit of a hangover. And all that remains is for me to thank you for attending the insurrection today. Also, your feedback is important to us, so please fill out the FBI survey cards as you leave the building. And be sure to note down your name, address, and a list of any and all firearms you may be keeping at your property.
I want to know who you called
By the way,
on that day.
Nancy Pelosi. I
want
don't
to
have.
talk about
Why
that
would
day.
I tell you that? Listen,
Don't want
Nancy
to talk about
Pelosi
that?
was in charge of security. She turned down 10,000 soldiers. If she didn't turn down the soldiers, you wouldn't have had January 6th.
Did you call military or law enforcement?
What?
Did you call military or law enforcement at the moment the Capitol
I'm
was
not going
under
to
attack?
tell you anything. Let me put it this way. I behaved so well. I did such a good job. Nancy Pelosi turned down 10,000 soldiers. If she didn't do that, and now
Nancy
I understand.
Pelosi doesn't have the
I
authority
understand
that
the
you
police
have as
testified
commander-in-chief,
against.
though.
Listen to me, Kristen. Listen to me. I understand that the police testified against her. The chief very strongly against her. Capitol Police, great people. They testified against her, and they burned all the evidence. Okay, they burned all the evidence. They destroyed all the evidence about Nancy Pelosi.
What do you say to people who wonder why you as commander-in-chief, you have authorities that Nancy Pelosi doesn't have as
No,
commander-in-chief?
she has authority over
Why
the
didn't you
Capitol.
send help in that moment, though?
Frankly, just so you understand, I assumed that she took care of it. She turned down.
So when you realized that the National Guard wasn't coming?
Well,
when
you don't
help wasn't
realize
coming?
anything until quite a while. National Guard not coming. I asked it to be there 3 days in advance, and she turned it down.
She says that request was never officially made.
Oh,
just
stop
so
it.
you know.
Let me just tell you.
Let me ask you
The
about
mayor of
pardons,
let me
Mr.
tell you.
President.
The mayor of D.C. gave us a letter saying that she turns it down. Okay, we have it. Nancy Pelosi also was asked, and she turned it down. The police commissioner
I'm talking
of
about the
Capitol
day of,
Police,
though.
wait a minute.
Yep.
Capitol Police said that he wanted it, and Nancy Pelosi wouldn't accept it. She's responsible for January 6th.
Mr. President.
Nancy Pelosi's responsible.
Mr.
And
President, you're the
J6
president,
committee
though. You
refused to interview
you have
her.
authorities that no one else has as the commander-in-chief. Do you think you showed leadership on that?
Yes, absolutely, I did.
Okay. You are facing 4 indictments, 91 felony charges.
If you would say it properly, I'm facing 4 Biden indictments. He told the Justice Department to indict him, or Merrick Garland said, let's indict him.
Let me ask you this, Mr. President.
They indicted their political opponent.
I just want to hear from you on this. I want to know what's in your head. When you go to bed at night, do you worry about going to jail?
No, I don't, really. I don't even think about it. I'm built a little differently, I guess, because I have had people come up to me and say, how do you do it, sir? How do you do it? I don't even think about it. These are corrupt people that I'm dealing with. They're destroying our country. I don't even think about it. All I think about is making the country great, making America great. Look, these are these are Banana Republic indictments. These are third world indictments. The President of the United States sees how we're doing. We have a movement the likes of which has never happened in this country before. And you see it with the polls. I mean, I'm up on these people by 60 points and 59 points. I don't mean I'm at 59. I'm leading them by 59. You almost say, like, why are they campaigning? Asa Hutchinson, he's at 0. Christie's at 2. Other ones are at 1. DeSanctimonious is at 9. I just see a poll coming. I mean, I'm leading him by 60 points.
Mr. President.
And you say, why are they doing it? But here's what they did. They saw this happening. And he went to the Attorney General of the United States, and he told them, indict Trump.
There's just no evidence of that, Mr.
why?
President.
Because you mean
But let's stay on track. Tell me, Mr. President, tell me what you see when you look at your mugshot.
I see somebody that loves this country in me, that loves this country. I see tremendous unfairness. I think very few people would have been able to handle what I handled.
Tell me,
Could I say one thing? Look at all the lies he's told over the last couple of weeks. He said he was at the World Trade Center, and he wasn't. He said he flew airplanes, right? He didn't. He said he drove trucks, and he didn't. Everything he says is like a lie. It's terrible.
Mr. President,
even his handicap in golf, he said he's a 6. He's not a 6.
I want to stay focused on you for the purposes of this interview, okay? Because it's important that we hear from you about all of this.
Well, I'd like you to, but you keep interrupting me. Could I say one thing? The election was rigged. There's no question about that. There's so much proof on it. Even if you go to the more modern day proof with the, they call it Twitter files, FBI and Twitter, or you take a look at the Amazon stuff or the Google stuff, or you take a look at 2000 Mules, you take a look at all of the ballot stuffing that's on tape, you take a look at the fact that the legislatures didn't approve a lot of the things that were done in the elections, and they had to approve. And we could go on forever. We could go on forever. But no, I want somebody that's going to be strong, respected, tough, and fair.
President Putin said, quote, "We surely hear that Mr. Trump says he will resolve all burning issues within several days, including the Ukrainian crisis. We cannot help but feel happy about it." What do you make of that? Do you welcome his support?
I like that he said that, because that means what I'm saying is right. I would get him into a room, I'd get Zelensky into a room, then I'd bring them together, and I'd have a deal worked out. I would get a deal worked out. It would have been a lot easier before it started. Essentially, for 4 years, I kept them from doing anything. Because, you know what, I will tell you this, I've never said this, Ukraine was the apple of his eye. I said, don't ever do it, don't ever do it. He would have never done it. But again, oil prices. He wouldn't have done it because of me, but oil prices. The prices were so high that he had so much money, so he had all this money to prosecute the war. The one who drove up the prices was Biden.
Given that President Putin has bombed maternity wards, 20,000 kids kidnapped from Ukraine by Russia, mass graves, do you welcome his support, his all but endorsement?
Look, I had a very good relationship with him, and yet nobody was tougher on Russia than me. I stopped Nord Stream 2. You never heard of Nord Stream 2. That was the pipeline until I got involved. I said Nord Stream 2, people that were sophisticated, military people and political people, never heard of Nord Stream 2. I had it ended. The pipeline was dead. Biden came in and he approved it. There was nobody tougher than me with Russia, and yet I got along with Putin. Let me tell you, I got along with him really well. And that's a good thing, not a bad thing. He's got 1,700 nuclear missiles, and so do we. But look, that's a good thing. Getting along is okay.
The most senior lawyers in your own administration and on your campaign told you that after you'd lost more than 60 legal challenges, that it was over. Why did you ignore them and decide to listen to a new outside group?
Because I didn't respect them.
You'd hired
lawyers,
them.
Sure, but that doesn't mean, you hire them, you never met these people, you get a recommendation, they turn out to be rhinos or they turn out to be not so good. In many cases, I didn't respect them, but I did respect others. I respected many others that said the election was rigged.
You called some of your outside lawyers, you said they had crazy theories. Why were you listening to them? Were you listening to them because they were telling you what you wanted to hear?
You know who I listened to myself? I saw what happened. I watched that election, and I thought the election was over at 10 o'clock in the evening.
You were listening to your instincts.
My instincts are a big part of it. That's been the thing that's gotten me to where I am, my instincts. But I also listen to people. There are many lawyers. I could give you many books. There are books that are written on how the election was rigged. There are numerous books that were written on how the election was rigged.
Just to be clear, were you listening to your lawyer's advice or were you listening to your own instincts?
I was listening to different people, And when I added it all up, the election was rigged. There are books
Were you
that are
calling the
written.
shots, though?
In fact, Molly Hemingway wrote a great book.
But were you
called
calling the
Rigged.
shots ultimately?
Excuse me. Molly Hemingway, who's highly respected and great, she wrote a book, a best-selling book called Rigged.
Were you calling the shots, though, Mr. President, ultimately?
As to whether or not I believed it was rigged, oh, sure. It was my decision, but I listened to some people. Some people said that. Like guys like Bill Barr, he was a stiff, but he wasn't there at the time. But he didn't do his job because he was afraid. You know what he was afraid of? He was afraid of being impeached. He was petrified to be impeached. And how do you not get impeached? Don't do anything.
Moving in and out of the shadow. It's no easy mission, holding on to how I picture you. Of humility, searching your eyes for the saint is an act of futility. Searching your eyes for a hint or a trace. I've been searching your eyes for humility, searching your eyes for a hint or a trace. I'm still searching, searching.
Putin should be a natural ally with the West. We have been pushing this fake Cold War for way too long, okay? We're not in the 60s anymore, okay? Putin is not trying to rebuild Soviet Union. He doesn't have the money. I mean, it's completely ridiculous to think that Russia is the biggest threat. This is just the mainstream media simulation. It's going to be just like the Soviet Union, whereas we're the ones that are actually pushing further into that territory. I mean, it's complete delusion. We're the ones that is putting NATO on everybody's border and pushing and inching further after we gave promises that we wouldn't do that we would not expand 1 inch eastward. Okay. So we're just not being honest about what it is that's even happening over there. We're not being honest about the corruption and the laundromat that Ukraine is and the reason why we have such a vested interest in it, Biden's interest in it, Burisma and everything that's going on. This has nothing to do with caring about Ukrainian soldiers. If you actually bought that narrative that they're worried about the Soviet Union expansion, you're absolutely wrong.
Why, as the Dutch government, a guy called Rutte, the Prime Minister, completely owned by the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab, why is the second biggest exporter of food in the world is targeting farmers to destroy them and get them off the land, which is where at a time of food shortages and supply chain problems, you are targeting the second biggest exporter of food in the bloody world to destroy its farming base? Why are you doing that? If people depend on you for what's left of the food, you control them. Where food is abundant and cheap and abundant, you do not control them. Scarcity equals dependency equals control. And that's why they're targeting the food chain, they're targeting the energy supply, they're targeting...
Not just Horchel or globalist pep mama saying that, it's back. And this is all over the country, but mainly East Coast, West Coast. Hospital system imposes draconian mandatory COVID vaccines for healthcare workers. Noncompliance results in unpaid leave and potential termination. And now they're saying, oh, and if you want to come to the hospital, you got to have it, or you want a kidney transplant, or you broke your leg, we're going to refuse you care if you haven't taken experimental fraud. I mean, they're murdering us. Murder. Red rum. Red rum, red rum, red rum, which is murder backwards. Let me get to the whole stack here for you. Then there's other, whoa. I'm done talking about that for now. Let's just set those aside and go to breaky.
With surveillance, people could look back in 100 years and identify the coronavirus epidemic as the moment when a new regime of surveillance took over, especially surveillance under the skin, which I think is maybe the most important development of the 21st century, is this ability to hack human beings, to go under the skin, collect biometric data, analyze it, and understand people better than they understand themselves. This, I believe, is maybe the most important event of the 21st century.
Humans are now hackable animals. The whole idea that humans have, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over. Today, we have the technology to hack human beings on a massive scale. Yeah, everything is being digitalized, everything is being monitored. In this time of crisis, you have to follow science.
Vaccine won't help us go to the test, of course. The
vaccine will help us, of course. It will make things, more manageable. It's often said that you should never allow a good crisis to go to waste, because a crisis is an opportunity to also do good reforms that in normal times people will never agree to, but in a crisis you see we have no chance, so let's do it. Bill Gates created this epidemic in a laboratory to take over the world.
What gives me hope is it used to feel like, you've been there for a long time. There's you and Sherry Tenpenny. There's this handful of doctors that have been putting it on the line for a long time, but you're being joined now by Oxford and Harvard and Stanford. When I look at the amount of studies that have been done on this vaccine alone and all of the side effects of it worldwide, Japan, Korea, everyone saying, I don't know, Houston, we got a problem here. I don't think you can stop that. The floodgate is open. Science is turning on this vaccine program. I actually think the minority is these sick, Kabbalists. They're just trying to take over the world, but they're losing all faith from people that are still thinking and talented around them.
Crypto Karaoke Steven sends me a message. You see that Trump has retruthed this message, and the message has a picture with the words, whatever on top, remember your oath. And that is one of those message board posts, matter of fact, from September 16th. It's actually a Delta. Trump has retruthed this person's post, and in the post it said, remember your oath, or your oaths. And that post from a long time ago on the you-know-what boards also says that, and the Delta is September 16th. And Antheos told us recently, pay very close attention to anything President Trump retweets or retruths. And I'll remind you, he also retruthed the Brunson Brothers Supreme Court case, which is October. There's the FEMA warning testing system, October 4th, whatever. Okay. And Antheos said, be ready. For the amount of stuff happening between day and night will seem like it was things that happened, took a month long to happen. Like as far as like newsworthy items, big events. For day and night will have passed. So much will have transpired within that period of time. So, yep, there's another one. I'm telling you, it's soon. I think this is it. September, October, November, personally, but we will see.
I found this little country chapel, and the doors were open wide. Something moved me and caught my spirit, and so I ventured here inside. Well, I've heard all about redemption, but it's something that I ain't seen. They say that Jesus' blood can wash me. Lord, I wish I felt that clean. God, I know I'm disconnected from the ones that I hold dear. I looked over all creation, so maybe finally I'll find you here. Yeah, my grandpa, he read the Bible, but I never quite learned to pray. So I sit here on this church pew, but I don't know just what to say. And I found devils in the bottle. Well, I find angels on my knees. I'm just find you here.
The Supreme Court will get involved with the elections, and you'll see that happen. We're going to make it happen one way or another. Decoys have already happened. Failures have already occurred to get answers. And now it comes in with one sweep. The only thing that was necessary was some form of standing.
And this is why you need to find your still and your strength to maintain course.
Pray about it. Praying is something we as humans have the ability to do when our physical and spiritual realities connect.
When you're in that still, you're able to see truth. You're able to taste truth, touch truth, feel it, and hear it.
Anything that is in your mind is literally in God's heart, and God is your creator, and we together are a collective. So the more we pray about it, the more we lift each other up and pray about it, the better it is. Prayer is important.
Try to cultivate your inner voice. Find that still. All day today, I've been praying for a lot of people that have been working really, really hard.
Always hurting.
somewhere in the world y'all can vote for Donald Trump when he come back up again. If y'all do vote for him.
Snoop Dogg, ain't nobody listening to y'all no more. Cut it out. Ain't nobody listening to y'all no more. Y'all been canceled from the hood. Like, black people, majority of black people waking up, okay? So y'all can just miss us with that old bullshit, talking about, oh, Donald Trump, y'all better not vote for Donald Trump. Yes, we voted for him. And you see a mass of black people is waking up to y'all bullshit. Yes, we will be voting for Donald Trump. Me, personally, I don't think it's going to be a 2024 presidential election. I really don't. But, anywho, yep, we got Trump's back. Yes, we do. And, just, sit down. Sit down, clown. You wanna be Crip ass nigga. You ain't no Crip. You ain't no Crip. You a Hollywood ass nigga. You ain't no Crip. Cut it out. Cut it the fuck out. Cause you ain't no Crip. You ain't no gangster. You none of that. You an actor. Playing a role as a rapper and a Crip. Get the fuck out of here, nigga. Please. You see, we got Trump's back like he got our back. You ain't got our back, Snoop. Shut the fuck up and sit down. And Trump is for the people. You're not. You have an agenda to destroy the people. Get the fuck out of here. Sit down, Snoop. Ain't nobody listen to y'all. Ain't nobody listen to y'all. Shut the fuck up.